Acting isn't a job, it's a calling. I'm Trevor Slattery, and I'm not just a legendary actor. I'm also in the possession of tools that can turn you into the next Trevor Slattery. I'm thrilled to announce the launch of the Slattery Method. Let's start by taking control of our breathing and counting to 4,000. I'll make you think I'm a werewolf or a congressman or a Tickle Me Elmer. For more information, follow the instructions on the screen. You want to transform? Come on then. Impressed? Yeah, it should be.
Welcome back, everyone. It has begun. Marvel released a very weird, very meta trailer video for Wonder Man featuring the fake Mandarin, Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3 in Shang-Chi, launching the Slattery Method, which they're using both as a trailer for the episodes, what's happening in the MCU right now, but also in-universe, treating it inside the MCU like it's a real thing in how Trevor tries to earn money after the events of Shang-Chi in Iron Man 3. This is an actual real number that you can call that Marvel has set up where it'll actually get a message from Trevor Slattery and get you to sign up for his text, and they'll send you these videos like it's Trevor Slattery in real life trying to get you to sign up for his acting lessons. I know there's going to be a ton of questions about what's going on here, like how does this all figure into what's happening during Spider-Man Brand New Day, in Avengers Doomsday, because those are the next big movies happening in the MCU, and this is meant to be canon to the MCU, like everything is all connected. We will see how much people dig how weird this series gets. Like, can you turn the Trevor Slattery bit from Iron Man 3 that they expanded on in the Shang-Chi movie, like they continued the bit and turn that into an entire series? Like, can that bit sustain an entire series? People do love Ben Kingsley, and they do love how self-referential the Deadpool movies gets, like Deadpool and Wolverine, but at a certain point, it does become a little bit too much. So we will see if this series does get to that too much level, like you're too inside baseball, too self-referential. Part of the idea here is that Trevor can't earn money as an actor right now after the world found out what he did in Iron Man 3 and Fillion with AIM, becoming the fake Mandarin, perpetrating all these crazy attacks around the world, some of which were real and some of which were fake, like some of it they pretended, and Fillion really did go around blowing up a whole bunch of stuff. So in universe, it became this big scandal, and Trevor's face was all over it even after the truth about Aldrich Killian got out. The world remembers him as that guy who was behind all these big attacks around the world. But it seems like what they're saying is that in present day, he's trying to pretend like it's no big deal, like the Hawk Tuah girl getting involved in that huge crypto scam in real life, then trying to play it off like it was no big deal and continue with her podcast. Public figures, celebrities, do stuff like this all the time in real life, where they get involved in some huge scandal, something terrible goes wrong, then they go away for a little while and try to slink back like nothing happened at all.
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
In-universe, inside the MCU, he does this Slattery method, trying to sell himself off as an acting coach in Hollywood of the MCU, remember? During the trailers, there are actually a lot of landmarks from real-life Los Angeles. You have to imagine that She-Hulk's law firm is somewhere nearby, like she's actually operating as a lawyer in Los Angeles while this is happening. Daredevil came here recently to get a bunch of new suits, which we actually saw during Daredevil Born Again Season 1 in his closet. And part of the idea here is that Trevor, during the events of the Wonder Man series, the episodes, becomes the mentor of Simon Williams, an aspiring actor played by Yahya, who's trying to get the role of the new Wonder Man in the remake, like the reboot of the in-universe Wonder Man movie from the 1960s, 1970s of the MCU. So the idea is that they're treating Wonder Man as if he was an in-universe fictional superhero during the 60s, 70s of the MCU before the Avengers formed, when S.H.I.E.L.D. was still operating relatively quietly beneath the radar, like Howard Stark, Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne were all running around the world trying to save people. So what they're doing is also meant to be true to Marvel Comics history too, partially. Like they're updating it for present day, which they also point out and make fun of during the trailers, like updating for modern audiences. A lot of the jokes that they're calling themselves out for in the trailers are things that people in real life make fun of them for on social media. But making the series this meta is also a bit true to the Wonder Man comics. Now, they're taking it to 11, like they're dialing it way, way up, but it's kind of like this in the original Wonder Man comics. In Marvel Comics, Simon Williams is an actual superhero with superpowers, but his day job persona as Simon Williams is a Hollywood actor, and he stars in movies that are based on adventures that he has with the Avengers and other superheroes and supervillains. Now, he was originally given his superpowers by Baron Zemo, and they're not doing that during the series. Baron Zemo is trying to go after the Avengers, so he gives Simon Williams powers, then sets him after them. Eventually, he comes to his senses and then goes and tries to be a Hollywood actor, acting in superhero movies based on adventures that he has. It would be like if the Avengers were all real, Doctor Doom was a real person, tried to remake the multiverse, the Avengers, the X-Men stop him, remake the multiverse again. Then Marvel Studios, in real life, made a dramatization of those events and just released them, calling them Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, these are documentaries, they're not fake movies. This is kind of what's going on during the Wonder Man episodes now. So they're using it for a lot of Deadpool-style fourth wall breaking references and jokes about the Marvel movies and superhero movies in general.
Just between us, they didn't test well in the focus group, particularly Cable.
Like one of the promos for the series mentioned superhero fatigue and superhero movies, the genre being stale, which is a joke they're making about themselves based on something that the Hollywood Reporter in the trade said in real life. So it's a little bit like that recent HBO series called The Franchise, where they parodied a movie studio trying to make superhero movies and how chaotic it gets, like just how wild it actually is, so much of a disaster it is. Probably the other best example of this is the Seth Rogen series called The Studio, which also parodies the inner workings of a movie studio, but dials it way up to 11, like it's way more comedic. Marvel's version of that is basically the Wonder Man series. There is going to be an actual superhero origin story during this where Simon Williams does get powers and becomes Wonder Man with actual powers, but they're treating it like he starts out as a normal working actor who just happens to live inside the MCU, so he knows all about the Avengers, about Thanos, Infinity War, the Snap, Endgame, Iron Man Sacrifice. He knows that magic exists, aliens, everything. But all he really cares about is just becoming the next Daniel Day-Lewis and landing the part of Wonder Man in the reboot of this in-universe classic superhero franchise. And while that's happening, another joke about method acting, he goes full method, like make all the Jared Leto jokes that you want. He actually gets the powers of Wonder Man and becomes the character as a way of joking about authenticity, being a better actor because he now can fully embody the character, a superhero, because he also becomes a superhero. Probably the funnier thing in all this is that it makes him sound kind of like a psychopath, because if you actually got superpowers, why wouldn't you immediately try to join the Avengers and start helping people? But most Hollywood actors in real life are kind of low-grade psychopaths. Some are really big ones. I think it's going to be a really big risk just in terms of how niche this is. The series almost feels like it was made just for people who are really into knowing how the sauce is made, how superhero movies are made in particular. Now, I'm actually really interested in all that stuff, but you'll get a lot of people who are like, I don't want to see the behind the scenes. I don't want to know how they make the sauce. I just want to see the superheroes do the superhero stuff. So we will see if the series gets too inside baseball for casual audiences. A really good example of this phenomenon is that HBO series I just mentioned, The Franchise, which kind of did the same thing, did a solid job at it too, but it was not popular with general audiences. It got canceled after one season. When you look at the Deadpool movies like Deadpool and Wolverine and the way that they do stuff like this, like their approach to being super meta and self-referential, when he calls out Marvel, Fox, the actual process of making movies, big Hollywood deals like the Fox Disney buyout, but all those jokes and references, fourth wall breaks, aren't the entire movie. There's an actual regular plot that you can follow, an actual through line. The jokes are more like the icing on the cake. They're not the whole meat and potatoes of the movie, and it's only a couple hours long movie. It's not an entire 8-hour series.
It's okay, keep going. Audiences are accustomed to long run times.
And a lot of the Wonder Man trailers make it seem like it takes that idea and just cranks it way up to 11 for many longer hours. So part of me thinks that after Marvel made this, they saw how the HBO version of this just flopped and how weird and different it's going to be from their traditional Marvel movies and shows like Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and kind of panicked, and that's why they're dropping the entire series binge style in January like the Echo episodes last year. Usually when Marvel binge drops something, it shows a very big lack of confidence, like, no, this isn't going to hold up to people picking it apart week to week. I think part of the idea here is that it does probably pay off in the end, like it probably is a pretty decent series, but it doesn't hold up week to week, and it takes a while to get to actually paying that off. This is also why I think the Russos are probably just ignoring anything that they're doing during this Wonder Man series. Like, Wonder Man is off in his corner of the MCU, and even though it is canon and references everything from the other movies and TV shows, the other movies and TV shows will not reference it or Wonder Man. So Marvel doesn't want anybody going into Avengers Doomsday wondering why Wonder Man isn't there running around with everybody else. I have talked about this in my previous trailer videos, but they are kind of setting up a low-grade West Coast Avengers with the characters over on the West Coast of the MCU. It sounds like there was a bigger plan for that a couple years ago before Marvel changed everything and is trying to speed run through Marvel Phase 6 so they just get to all the X-Men reboot stuff they're doing after Avengers Secret Wars. And my assumption is that if Wonder Man does well enough and they want to bring him back, it'll be in somebody else's project, but there will probably not be a Wonder Man Season 2. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below. We will see how down people are for how weird this gets, like taking the idea of Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, referencing himself, other real-life movie stuff, and just cranking that to 11. This is also why YouTube channels like mine exist, to actually pick stuff like this apart and explain what's going on. Like, what are all the references? What are they trying to set up? How is this going to pay off in the future of the movies and the TV shows? In related Avengers Doomsday news, CCXP is happening in a couple weeks. There'll be a couple big trailers from different studios like DC trailers, some Marvel trailers maybe, and then we're supposed to get that first actual Avengers Doomsday trailer later in December with Avatar 3. So whatever footage everybody winds up releasing, of course I will do videos for it. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. Everybody click here to learn about that brand new Avengers Doomsday controversy in the last couple of days. It was crazy. And click here for all my other big Marvel videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.